We're heading to Tesco's and a new beer from them. This one, Abstract Lens. It's a double IPA coming in at 8% and it's from North Brewing. But what's it going to be like? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to the supermarket. Yes, we're going to Tesco. And one beer, although it's been around a good few weeks, I've only really had a chance to pick it up now. This is an Abstract Lens. It's a double IPA from the North Brewing Company, 8%. Pretty much standard sort of double IPA sort of level. It says it's a smooth, hazy double IPA featuring Idaho 7, Talus, and Citra hops bursting with ripe tropical flavour. So let's crack this beer open and stick it into a glass and see what it's all about. I mean, double IPAs, I don't drink huge amounts on them, but I mean, I think the supermarket ones, again, they can be a little bit hit and miss. But well, let's see what this is. Let's not pass judgment until we've poured it out and had a drink of it. I mean, beer in a glass looks quite good. I mean, it's hazy, but again, it's, there's still this sort of slight, you can see slightly through it. Certainly at the bottom, loads of carbonation. Look at the speed of that carbonation. I've poured it a bit rubbish because I've got about 4 fingers of head. It's yellowy, it's IPA-esque, but I wouldn't necessarily call this a double IPA in terms of its looks because I don't think it's as thick as a lot of double IPAs are. So let's see what it smells like. Yeah, I mean, I'm picking out that Talus hop. For me, Talus is, I think I've called it the cousin of Sabro, but actually I've also seen someone describe it as the sort of little brother of Sabro. Has a lot of Sabro characteristics, but one thing that it has got a characteristic of, which is not necessarily associated with Sabro, is this sort of rose petal type of aroma, and this is what I'm getting from this beer. It smells sweet. It smells like floral and rose petal-esque, almost to that point where it's got that sort of slight Turkish delight sort of aroma. There's lots of citrus in there as well. Certainly smells pretty good, actually. I'm quite looking forward to it now. So let's get stuck in. Cheers, everyone. That's not bad at all. In one way, it doesn't really feel like you're drinking a double IPA. It's quite light. It's a little bit more carbonation than you would expect. It's also got quite a level of refreshment. Very, very citrusy. It's very big on citrus. And I can't think of many double IPAs I had that have been big on real sort of quite zesty citrus flavours. There's not really that sort of that chewy dankness that you usually get with double IPAs. And in my opinion, that's a good thing because that sometimes can go a bit too far. But this is quite refreshing. Yeah, I mean, it's a really refreshing beer. You don't expect an 8% beer to be refreshing. You can get a little bit of the alcohol burn, a little bit of the slight warmth in there. But for a double IPA, it's probably one of the easiest drinking double IPAs that I've had. Just because it's quite light, it's refreshing, it's citrusy. You're getting those sort of, the sort of slight pineapple and slight pininess as well. But there's loads of citrus that sort of almost washes that away just before you sort of can really taste it. So you're getting lots of lemons, quite a bit of lime zest in there. And then there's just a little subtle bit of grapefruit on the back end. But it's got that sweetness, I think, from the Talus. So it's almost like pink grapefruit opposed to your sort of traditional yellow grapefruit. This is pretty good, actually. This is, in fact, for a supermarket beer. So this was from Tesco, and I think it was, I should really pay attention. They keep changing the prices. I think £3.50, £4, something like that. Pretty damn good value for a double IPA. Yeah, I'm picking up a little bit more of that grapefruit now. It's a little bit more stronger, but it's still that point where it's not really bitter. It's got that just slight zest to it, that sort of, the slight sort of lime and grapefruit combined together. But it's, as I said, it's the pink grapefruit because there's that sweetness in that grapefruit. It's a really zesty bit. And oh my God, what have I got in the bottom of here? What is that? That looks like a fully formed hop that hasn't been not mixed in the mix. I don't think I've seen the level of sediment that big, you know. Look at it. Check that out. I'm hoping I don't drink it and find out it's not sediment, but it's some sort of worm that's crept in there, because it's a bit, I'll look at it better in the camera now. I think that's a massive bit of hop. Well, yeah, tell me if that moves. I don't think that's moving. I think that's just a big bit of sediment in there. It's a little bit off-putting when you see big chunks of stuff in the bottom there, but it's a very zesty beer, and it's probably one of the best double IPAs I've had. I mean, and when I say best, I mean that's more about my personal opinion, really, because it's light, it's zesty, it's very, very zesty. Lemons and limes and grapefruits, all big in the mix. But there's a sweetness, there's that sort of rose, Turkish-like petal sort of flavour. There's bits of pine coming in and out. There's little bits of pineapple, pockets of that pineapple in there. But it's pretty damn good, and I think it's definitely a recommended beer. So, Abstract Lens, you can pick it up in Tesco's. Give it a go, and if you get any big chunks in it, let me know. But I've got to admit, that's the biggest chunk I've seen in a beer in my life. So, let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Abstract Lens, a double IPA, 8% from the North Brewing Company. This is a good beer. And as I say, you can pick it up very easily from Tesco supermarket. And I think I'm going to pick it up again next time I see it, because it's a very nice beer. First things first, aroma. So when I smell, you get the aroma as soon as you open the can. Put it to your nose, it's got loads of zest. It's almost like the sort of inviting aroma you get with a pale ale. There's loads of citrus fruits in there. Lemons and limes and grapefruits are plenty, and they are the real dominant fruits. I'm not getting much in terms of mango and passion fruit and the sort of tropical. It's very citrusy, and it's quite unusual to get a very citrusy double IPA, but it's inviting and makes you want to drink it. So I'm giving it 14 for aroma. Appearance. Well, apart from the big chunk, which is still sitting in the bottom there, I tried to fish it out, but I couldn't. I gave up, basically. There's quite a lot of sediment in there. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I'm not really sure. It can put some people off. I think it looks pretty good. It's actually a little bit more hazy than I thought it was, but it's got a lovely sort of creamy head there, quite frothy. It's a lovely colour. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Flavour-wise, well, I'm always a little bit nervous of double IPAs, because sometimes they can just be too strong, and I don't get huge amounts of enjoyment. I know loads of people that just drink double IPAs and that's their sort of go-to drink, but I can't be drinking 8% beers, you know, it's just all the time. I do like them because I think sometimes they're so fruity, they're so thick, and they're really good. But this is not like that for a double IPA. It's quite different. It's quite light. Carbonation is a lot greater than you would expect from a double IPA, but it's not overly carbonated. It's smooth, but because it's light, it's not really creamy. But the flavours are in there, so zesty and refreshing. An 8% beer that's refreshing is a bit of an oxymoron, really. You know, you don't expect that. It's got full of citrus fruits, lemons and limes. There's pink grapefruits. I'm starting to get normal grapefruits, grapefruit rind in there, but it never gets to the point where it's too bitter in terms of that fruit bitterness. You know, it never gets to that. There's pockets of pineapple. There's pockets of pine itself, but they sort of just, as I say, they're pockets. They just sort of jump in and out. But the big hitter here is lemons, limes, citrus fruits, maybe even a little bit of orange rind in there as well. It's a refreshing beer, which is uncharacteristic in my opinion for a double IPA. But it's one of the better double IPAs I've had. And the fact that this is a supermarket beer, I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to get 35 for flavour. Value for money. A double IPA that's 8%, that was I say £3.50, but it could have been £4. But even then, that's pretty cheap for a double IPA, and it's a good one as well. So I'm giving it 10 out of 10. I think it's worthwhile. 8%, you know, you only have to have a couple of these, and, you know, jobs are good, and as it were. So 10 out of 10 for value. I think it's pretty good value for money. And then my overall experience, well, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, I like double IPAs, but I just find sometimes they can, you wait for the hot burn because they're just too hot forward, or there's too much of that warmth in there. The flavors can be really overly dank, especially more in the stone fruit sort of flavors, which I don't like when it's too much, you know, when you don't get a refreshment from the beer. But I don't think I've had a double IPA as refreshing as this beer is, which is very, very surprising. So overall experience, I'm giving it pretty high because I'm really enjoying it. It's like drinking an ABV. It does drink like a 5.5% beer. So I'm giving it 16 for overall experience. Tighten those scores up, we get a very, very good 83. That's a brilliant score for a supermarket beer. It's a highly recommended beer. It's an Iron Maiden. It's the heaviest of heavy metal, but it's quite a light beer. Double IPAs are not usually like this, but if you've had this, let me know what you think, because I think this is one of the better double IPAs that I've had, whether in the supermarket or elsewhere. I mean, I do think, you may have seen the video a few days ago when I talked about my favourite Polly's and the Acapella, which was a very good double IPA, but it didn't have that refreshment that this has got. It didn't have that zestiness that this has got. Very, very good. I think it's worthwhile checking it out. If you go to Tesco's and you want something a little bit smoother, a little bit higher on the ABV, but you still want a little bit of refreshment and you still want to enjoy it. It's not like drinking a special brew, or it's not like drinking a really thick, gloopy, dank sort of beer, then this one is definitely worth your time. So Abstract Lens, North Brewing. It's a great beer, 83, highly recommended. Hope you've enjoyed this video. And until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.